Hello and welcome to my channel AB Make It Artwork, where we do what we do to make that artwork for you. And if you're new to my channel, maybe hit that subscribe button, join the AB Creative Crew. We do sketchy art things. And if you want to see me take this drawing that is very old of mine and turn it into this, then just keep on watching and listen to the rambly tones of my soothing or maybe annoying voice. I don't know, your preference. And so I'm trying a bunch of new things, and part of it is a different way in coloring in pictures of drawings in a sketchbook. And the way I'm going about it was explained in a video by Drawing with Waffles. I'm going to link the video in which she explains how she colors in sketches from her sketchbook, because gotta share the love, share the resources, can't give credit where credit is due. And so after watching that tutorial on how she does her sketchbook pages, coloring them in digitally, I was reminded of when I was younger and how I used to take pictures of my drawings with a very crappy camera, color them in after adjusting the layers. I would color them in on GIMP. And as you saw probably earlier, I was clearing up some of the drawing from the page behind it, clearing up the line work a little bit. And I set it on a multiply layer and I kept it on the top. But I think Waffles can teach you better, because she explains it pretty simply. So aside from a new way that I'm going about coloring, I am trying a new program, and it's a screen capture program for iPad. Again, good art friends share good art resources, and I find little tidbits of gold amongst the internet, and I feel like I gotta share it with you guys. It's TechSmith Capture. It's one of the first 3 results that shows up for screen capture apps for iPad. It's free to download, free to use, and it's very easy to use too. All you have to do is flick the screen up, hit the little record button. It gives you a little tutorial, and then record away for whatever you're doing. And I'm trying this out because, as you probably know, with Procreate videos, they do an elapsed footage, but the elapsed footage is more so based on all of your brush strokes. So say for instance, you've spent 15 minutes readjusting colors, whether that be what specific hue is it, what's the saturation, what's the opacity. Procreate doesn't record that bit because that's not a brush stroke, that's layer settings. And part of me just wanted to see if I could find any screen recording apps, because I wanted to try out a couple of other apps that you can get for the iPad that are drawing apps. Because I didn't know before, but Clip Paint Studio has an app for your iPad. Metabang has an app for your iPad, but they don't have recording features on either of their apps, so that means that I had to look into the whole screen recording thing, because as far as I knew, I could screen record from an external source if I connected my iPad to it, or as far as I was aware. But this makes it a lot easier with the TechSmith recording app. So I'll try to link that app as well, not sponsored, just art friends doing good art things for those resources, because Mama China got your back. That must sound weird coming from me. That's a nickname I got from Anime Club. So with that all being said, I will be trying these other drawing apps. I've only played with them for a little bit, but I gotta say I still love Procreate a lot because it's a lot simpler. It has a much nicer looking interface. It's It's better than Sketchbook to some degree, and Sketchbook has its own things that it's really good with. And those are like the kind of go-to apps that are free to download in like $7 to $10. But again, I want to try these other apps like Clip Studio Paint and Metabang. Like, Metabang thus far, really good app with what it's got with it, that it's free to use, free to download, and there's a lot of free resources that you can download, like brushes and whatnot. But I think I'll do a more conclusive comparison once I get more than just like an hour's worth of play into them. So if that's something that you're definitely interested in, me comparing different drawing apps for iPad, maybe give this video a thumbs up or just let me know, like with yes please. Like drawing app review, yes please, in the comment section. Just let me know what your thoughts on that are. But yeah. Now this isn't like, well, this is a mix of my opinion and like external forces when it came to Clip Studio Paint too, when I brought up Metabang for iPad. And I don't think I like Clip Studio, like thus far with like the quick glimpses I've had. But again, like review will be a different time. I think you probably want to hear me talk about this art piece just a little bit. This is a drawing that I did probably in 2015. I drew this in 2015 or 2016. So this is either like a 2-year-old or a 3-year-old sketch that I had done that I really like it. Yeah, I did it in 2016. I didn't date it and I didn't sign it because it was like a weird sketchbook doodle that I did because I was bored. And I really love how she came out. It was one of those kind of dystopian figures of like mixture of post-apocalyptic world or maybe cyberpunk and dystopia. Because I like weird things like that. I love work like H.G. Geiger. I like art of Iroguro. I like weird things. I like gross things. Not just for the sake of they're weird and that they're gross, but because they challenge my perception of things and they make me have to reason, well, why is it gross? Or why is it weird? That isn't to say that I don't like weird and gross things just for the sake of liking weird and gross things. Like, my favorite type of genre is horror. I like horror genre movies. I was one of those kids that at first I didn't like Nightmare on Elm Street because Freddy kind of freaked me out, but as I grew older, I really loved his dark sense of humor. And just the stupid way he went about things. And like, do you guys have any favorite scary movies that you want to talk about? I'm always down to talk about a scary movie, whether it's like bad or not. Like, one of my favorite scary movies is House on Haunted Hill. Ah, the second movie. That was so funny. And I just think they're funny for different reasons of like different CGI effects, especially the sequel. Can't wait for a third one for that. But personally, I really like art that challenges my perception of things. Like surrealism, I really like that in regards to Salvador Dali. Like, if you know any particular artists that work in like cyber dystopian, cyberpunk genre, or surrealism, or just different art themes that are like challenging, go ahead and share that in the comments section. I mean, I might even decide to do in-depth videos to talk about different art genres and like why I appreciate them so much and how I was first introduced to them and why I enjoy certain influences. And I might even make pieces based on those influences. Can't say that's a promise, but it's like that's something that I'm interested in and that I could probably do as a new thing. Oh, whew. Yeah. So with the whole cyber dystopian, uh, dystopia influence, this is one of those doodles that I just drew out of boredom and drew because I liked the shapes of it. I thought it was interesting, and I decided to color it in because also those shapes are very interesting and rather pleasing to look at. For instance, the way her hips curve out with these like really rounded thighs. I think that looks very pleasing. This is just me. I enjoyed the weird mechanical aspects and coloring that in. It just doing this whole coloring process just reminded me about why I love this piece so much. Like, why did I enjoy drawing it so much when I was doodling it with a little red ballpoint pen? And why do I still enjoy it even now? And having gone through and colored in this piece, I am super happy with what I've gotten from it. And sure, I might go back and do more rendering after, like a little bit, because could I always do better? Of course. Like, there's always room for improvement as an artist. But for now, I'm really happy with what I have ended with as the result. And I just think it's super neuters. I think I think we're actually really close to the end. The end is nigh and robots will control us all. As you can see, like, a thing that I tend to do, maybe other artists don't do it, or maybe they do, is that once I'm happy with something, I'll just, like, merge down all the layers, as you probably saw just a minute ago. And here's the signature. Yep. Yep. I'm really happy with the recording app that I can show you more of what I do in regards to my process, as well as share the elapsed footage. And hey, if you ever want to hit me up on any of my other social medias, I have a DeQueenArt, I have a Tumblr, I have a Twitter, I have an Instagram, I have a Pinterest for other resources. I am not on my Newgrounds account very often, but I have it there in case of like whatever. But yeah, all the links to my social media will be in the description down below. I hope that you're having a wonderfully creative and sketchy day wherever you are, and that you find people remember to do what you do to make that artwork for you. Lots of love. Bye.